Well folks, I'm back in the saddle. Here is the Compost It Ready truck and trailer. About to do some crazy compost, and I'm going to show you a few tips on how to fill your raised beds in an efficient way and in a different way of filling them 1 year and then the next year coming back in, because I've noticed that people, whenever they fill their raised beds, sometimes especially if it's a deep bed, it gets like the soil has no time to acclimate and to adjust for the just the level of carbon in there and the level of usually lower level of nitrogen because of all the carbon. So this is a way that you can start your garden and your raised beds now for future reference, to where you're not having a ton of material. All right, here we go. Let's do this thing. It's always fun backing up right here, getting it going, starting the day off right. Whoa! Actually, it's more like evening or afternoon right now because it rained today. So folks, let's do this breakdown here. So basically, this thing is filled with straw, and I already filmed this, but my camera did not have the audio on, so this is take 2, so it's probably going to be better than take 1. So here we go. Let's talk about straw, using straw or hay in filling your raised beds. It comes down to a few things. Essentially, straw is the plant part of a grain type of a cereal grain type of plant, and what they've done is they've harvested the grain, which is on the top, and then they've cut down the plant, basically the leaves and the stalk. So when that happens, the plant has already taken most of its nutrients that it had grown in the growing season. It pumps those nutrients into the grain, and then we harvested the grain. So essentially the food, or the quality of straw is not that high, because essentially you're just getting carbon, less of the nutrients. The nutrients were all pumped into the grain. That's the story behind this stuff, straw. Straw is just mostly carbon. And then when it comes to hay, hay is a mixture of all kinds of material. It could have clovers in it, could have grasses in it, could have different weeds, and it's a mixture of all that, harvested usually whenever it's starting to go to seed. So you're going to get a lot more nutrients from hay. Problem is, you also get those seeds. So some folks, sometimes some folks would say it's good to avoid any type of hay, because you're just introducing seeds, new weed seeds, into your garden. The key with that is, if you use hay, you can either keep layering hay to where it never has a chance to really pop through. It's always covered up. The soil is always covered up, and those seeds just never have a chance to pop through. Or you can do this with hay. Essentially put the hay real thick underneath, and then layer compost or soil on top, and don't till it. If you tilled it, that would bring those seeds to the surface. But if you don't till it, then there you go. You have nutrients that eventually, as that hay breaks down, the plants will send their roots, and they'll benefit from those materials that have been breaking down. So hay and straw, I mean, there are benefits and downsides to both. This client ended up filling this raised bed with the straw, which is not a bad solution to filling these tall raised beds. These things are probably about 2 feet, if not more, in height. But it is one way that you can fill your raised beds halfway, because essentially, as this breaks down, all that hay, or that straw is going to break down to like an inch or 2, or maybe probably just an inch within a year. It's crazy how fast it goes. So that thing is going to be breaking down, and even though it's level to the top with my compost, it's probably going to be about here by the end of the year. So it's one way to fill your raised beds quickly, and if you're on a time crunch to get things planted, you can do it pretty quickly. But you just know that you're going to have to come back in and fill in half again. So it is a way to do it. Another thing you can do, I put a piece of this to show you. You can do a piece of wood. You can do hugelkultur, which I usually do that because the surface of a log is not a ton. There's all of that material in there all the way through. The plant is not having access to decomposition. So that just means it's a slower breakdown. And as it's a slower breakdown, you just get less need for it to have carbon and more nitrogen in their carbon ratio. I can't remember if I showed you this before, but basically this is how I've been loading the compost. It's the best way I could find because the lip of my wheelbarrow doesn't come to here to like push it over. Plus that's stuff there. I think they're gonna put logs on top later on, so just gotta be careful. That's pretty sharp. But yep, got this in here, so it lands on there. Dump it out. One quick way to fill your raised beds. But yeah, so this material is pretty good stuff. It's got clay to it. You can see that. It's got different types of clay to it. Here, focus. Come on, camera, focus. There we go. Got different types of clay and topsoil mixture mixed in, and then just organic matter here.
She's coming for water. I'm gonna give her a little drain, put them up. I'm gonna pet her.
Okay.
And we'll just actually get some pictures with neat pet.
You can see that's some really happy stuff. And I'll really do like a mixture where you've got more clay, topsoil, and carbon, and then a little bit of wood chippiness on the top. Later on, I would probably recommend that they come back in with more of like a mushroom compost, something that's more fine, more broken down, so it's easier to sow seeds. Maybe like a topsoil mixture in there. That'd be the way to go. So hopefully that makes sense, folks. Hopefully that makes sense straw is a way that you can do it, but there are some downsides, and just know that it's gonna break down like crazy. Look at those worms. Isn't that just crazy? I mean, it is covered in worms. And these are like compost worms, so they're gonna be turning this whole place into worm happiness. Yeah, cool. Go, worms, go. Have fun. And there you have it, everybody. Raised beds that are all filled up. Looking happy. Cool. Yep, you can use straw, and hey, there are other options that have different qualities, but it is one option. And if it's what you got, it's what you got. Might as well. And then just come back in after that decomposes and come back in and put some more. If it's not raised beds, if it's just like in-ground gardens, that's honestly a little bit better scenario because you don't have to build them up, fill them up. You know, you can just have the everything decomposed down, basically like doing no dig. All right, and you can use the straw and the hay to press and kill all the weeds underneath. It's all fun stuff, folks. Gardening is just the best. Thanks for watching. It's always been fun. Catch you later on the Garden Guy channel. Bye.